everyone, my name is Ashley and welcome back to my channel, Worth the Read, where we talk about books that are worth your time reading. Today's video is a book review on a book that I had on my TBR in February that I just finished in May because I'm not good at TBRs. No. I set a list of books that I want to read in a month. I may read one of them, I may read none of them. It's just how I feel and how it flows and how much time I have to actually read. So let's get right into this. Today's book that we're reviewing is Allegedly by Tiffany Jackson. This book is fiction. It is about a young lady named Mary B. Addison, let me say that. And she was convicted of murdering a baby when she was, I believe, 8 years old. She allegedly killed a baby that her mother was babysitting for the night. And the book, what I do like about this book is it goes back and forth. So you have some flashbacks to actual court documents. So you'll see like court notes and testimonies from detectives and psychologists and experts woven in with the current state. So when we first read this story, she's young and she just allegedly committed this murder of a baby that her mom was babysitting, which happens to be a young white baby in Addis, and Mary is a black girl. And there's a very brief, tells you the very brief information about Mary and her life as a child and her dynamic with her mother, who had mental issues. You know, her mother was on pills. Her mother could be very abusive and obsessive over Mary. And her mother seems to be the kind of person that would takes on characters to try to impress people. So instead of just being herself, she turns into this church going woman who becomes obsessed with the church, and they start going to church all the time. And she tries to portray this life that she really doesn't have. And if she doesn't take her pills, she morphs into a very abusive and angry woman and kind of takes it out on Mary from time to time. Her mother is also a kind of woman who needs approval of men, and that plays a big role in her life. And her mother is abused by her boyfriends, and Mary tries not to be abused by her boyfriend but ends up being abused by her boyfriend. So her mother in this book is, I would say, the downfall of her. I don't know why it's a theme lately in my videos that sometimes your family can, again, be your downfall, and they're not always good for you, but that's life. Sometimes those are the hands you're dealt. So Mary is a child, and her mother's babysitting, like I said, a little white baby that's a friend of hers from church's daughter. And the baby ends up dead. And you don't know how, which I love the way Tiffany wrote this book, because Mary throughout the book is telling people the truth about what happens, or what we think is the truth about what happens, her version of what happened that night. But you never find out until later on in the book. So she continues to tell the story, and then Tiffany doesn't explain the story until later on in the book. And I really enjoyed that because it was just like, okay, she's about to tell the story, I'm about to find out what happened, and then she doesn't explain it. She explains it to the person she's talking to in the book, but we don't get that as a reader until later on. So I enjoyed that, the holding out, the thought, well, you as a reader linger and cliff hang thinking you're about to find out what happens, and then she doesn't tell you, so you're like, all right, let me read. So I really enjoyed her doing that in this book. Another major aspect of this book is prisons for children, and it's not in focus, but she speaks on it. Now she's 8 years old and she's sent to what they call baby prison, which isn't baby prison. They send her to adult prison. She's just a child there. And it briefly gives you a glimpse on how crazy our judicial system is, especially when it comes to children who commit crimes and major crimes. I was watching a short documentary on HBO. I think the show is called Vice, and they talk about different topics. And it was also talking about juveniles in prison and how children make mistakes. Children who kill, children who do all these things are treated like adults, but mentally they're still children. And how our judicial system just throws them away. But in this movie, she goes to jail. She never gets a real trial. Her mom kind of accepts a plea for her, which is crazy. And she ends up going to jail. And the main part of the book picks up from when she's in a halfway house. So she's in a group home after they released her from prison. And at this point, she's about 15 years old. And living in a group home, to some, will seem like freedom if you've been in jail for 6 years at a young age. But the group home sometimes can be worse than the actual prison. And you get that in this book. In the book, I found myself wanting, if I was her, wanting to go back to the prison versus staying in the group home. Because when you're in group homes, and I know this from experience of children I work with, and in the book, there's a lot going on in group homes. Some people, and I do say some people that run group homes, really don't care about the children that are in their homes, and they don't care about their maintaining a healthy living space. So the house had roaches, it was mice everywhere, it was filthy. The two people that ran the house didn't care about them, so they would, the girls, and this is an all girls house, would get into fights, and I mean really brutal physical altercations. And instead of the two people who ran the home diffusing situations and trying to avoid blow-ups, because if these children fight and beat each other up, it has to be reported, and then they would get in trouble. They would just let them fight and sit there and be like, oh my God, now we have to fake this report. Now we have to try to convince this child to lie because they've been beaten up. So Mary ends up in this group home, and she's still experiencing abuse. So she went from her home with her mother and her mother's boyfriends, experienced abuse, ends up in jail. She was in solitary. So you're putting a child in solitary for years. And then she goes to the group home where, again, she's getting physically abused. And little does everybody know, Mary is very intelligent. So her whole dream is to get out of the group home, go to college, and try to make a life for herself. But she doesn't realize how big her case was and how many people know who she is until she starts to go, because she works at a nursing home, and she goes out and she starts to find out that people know her name and there's books about her. And as a child, she doesn't equate the fact that my name is famous for a negative reason and that might hinder me from achieving my goals. Because she's still young, she doesn't get that your reputation is all you have and your name is all you have. And if there's books written about you, how you're a murderer and you abuse babies and things like that, it's going to be harder for you to excel beyond that. Now Mary ends up pregnant, and I won't tell you how, in the book. So her life before she got pregnant, it was, let me just survive this home. Let me do my last couple years and get out of here and start a life beyond this nightmare that I've been living for the last 6 years. But then she gets pregnant and she realizes that she wants to keep the baby. But being in a group home and technically prison, she can't keep her baby. So everybody tells her she either gets an abortion or she's going to put the baby up for adoption. And she doesn't want that. She doesn't want that at all. So her mind changes from let me just survive these couple of years to I have to get out of prison. I have to fix this. I need them to reopen my case. I need to tell the truth about what really happened or what I think was the truth about what really happened. And that's when you start the whole second half of the book of her fighting to try to explain what really happened, to get herself out of jail, to really save her child, not her. Because I think at first, before she found out she was pregnant, she really didn't care. She just wanted to finish her time and move on. But when she realized that she wouldn't be able to keep her child, it was now a fight to come out with the truth. Now, I won't tell you how the book ended because it's a review. I will tell you, let's talk about it in comments, because a booktube friend of mine, I guess, Yogi with a book, read the book also, and she told me that the ending was going to be a little so I was prepared for that. I wish Tiffany, the author, would have went into more detail after. Like, the book is about 380 pages, but it was a good book and it made you want to read it. So I wanted more information. I feel like the ending was just like that. And I was like, no, that's it. That's all I'm going to get. It's a wrap now. It's over. So I didn't really like that, but I would definitely give this book 4 stars. It's if you have been abused, this book may be a trigger. If you have mental health issues in your family, this book may be a trigger. I would say that because it's a lot of it. This book, there's no happiness in this child. She's been through a lot, and it wasn't deserved, so we think. So allegedly, she kind of has lived her life, the beginning part of her life, trying to please her mom and trying to be everything for her mother and trying not to be sexually abused by her mom's boyfriends, to being put in jail. So she really never has a chance, ever. And it makes you think how many children are out there in the world that are like this, that are born into these situations where their life never had a chance. Just didn't. That's how the cards they were dealt. And they never had a chance, and they will never have a chance. So it can be very emotional reading this book. I thought it was going to be harder for me to read. Now, in the synopsis, they play up the race thing. It is mentioned casually here and there how she was kind of shafted because the baby was a white baby and she was black. But that isn't Tiffany's main focus, and I appreciate her for that, because I think sometimes it's easy, because racial issues are so prevalent in the United States, it's easy to just automatically go there. She goes there, but it's not, slapped all through the book. It's little jabs of that. And I appreciate that because I want to read more. Me, especially being a black woman, knowing that that's the reality for us anyway, I would like to read about things other than that. So I really appreciate Tiffany for that. And that's my review on Allegedly by Tiffany Jackson. I try to get into detail when I review books, but because the way this book is written, a lot of what I would want to say is kind of a spoiler, and I don't want to do that for you. So read the book. I definitely give this a 4 star. This is worth the read approved. I found myself not watching TV at all the week I read this book. I was just like devouring it. It was good. And the way it's written, the more you read of it, the more information you get about what really happened. So you're forcing yourself to read it because you want to know what happened. And that was genius on Tiffany's part. So thank you for watching. Welcome back another week. I decided that I would do what I'm currently reading when I do my book reviews. And I'm currently reading Dread Nation by Jessica Ireland. I'm about 3 or 4 chapters in. This is my first historical fiction and also my first zombie book. So, let's get into it. It's pretty good so far. I'm only about 3 or 4 chapters in, but that's what I'm currently reading. Thank you for watching my videos. Comment, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell for notifications. When I put out a new video, you'll get it first. And thank you for all my new subscribers. I hope you enjoyed my channel. And that's it, guys. Bye. If you're in Philly, say what's up. You know. Everybody have a great day. Many blessings. And we're out from Worth to Read.